Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. It's been a long 2 weeks, but we are finally here, as it is, of course, season 3 of the CRA. And once again, for this season, I'm delighted to say that joining me in the commentary box is Danny.
Hello, mate. How's things?
I'm not too bad, thank you. How are you?
Top draw. Doesn't feel like 2 minutes since we saw last season off, and here we go again. Can't wait.
Yeah, I was going to say Sakia 2 weeks ago, round 10 of season 2. One of the best races I think we've seen since we started the academy, and like I said, 2 weeks ago to this day, really. But it doesn't feel like that.
No, not at all. I suppose at the end of the season, in between now and then, we've had a new grid put together, some new teams put together. You know what it's all about. The excitement's been building up over the last couple of weeks, and I think that's why time's passed pretty quickly, because everyone's just dying for it to get going. Yeah,
you mentioned there that there's a few bits that have changed. Obviously, driver lunch is a big one here at Cone Racing League across all 3 tiers. Driver grids are shaken up each season, but the big thing about this year has to be that we have gone from the short qualifying and 25% to a short qualifying and 50% race. So it's in line with the CRC 1 and 2 tiers in terms of race distance, but obviously that short qualifying session compared to full. So what are your thoughts on that, first of all?
I think that strategy is obviously going to become a massive part of this now. It's not going to be the same conversation every week about, is it just soft medium? Ultimately there's going to be some massive changes, certainly with any safety cars coming out early doors, how it's going to really mess with people's strategies if that happens. I think there's going to be a lot more thought going to have to go in for every single driver right across the board this season. So I'm really looking forward to some of the decisions that are going to get made and see if they're paying off.
So yes, very, very, very important. We'll get more on that later. But here we go then. For the first time this season, as we come through Club Corner, on board with Tomo Tip Top for a track lap here in Silverstone. We run down then in towards turn 1 at Abbey, nice and tight to the curb on the right, and you shift left in the run up towards turn 3 at Village. It's nice and tight on the apex there. You can see as you come sort of to the outside, then to inside 4, turns 4 and 5, the loop section as it is known, and it's down foot to the floor as you come down the Wellington Straight then, the first of the big DRS zones here in Silverstone. Look out for your braking points at about 75 metres for the left-hander of Brooklands, and then it's back nice and tight for Lutherell there on the apex. You can see about 2nd or 3rd gear, depending on what suits you best, and it's out on the curb at Woodcote. You do the long old run down the old pit straight then towards the fastest corner on the circuit at Cops, flicking that car right, taking as much curve as you can, but don't run too wide or you will invalidate the lap time. And it's then up towards the favourite bit of my lap here at the circuit, the Maggots and Beckett's complex, flicking it left, right and left as you come through then the final part on towards Chapel, I believe that is, and then up the Hangar Straight is purple then for Tomo Tip Top as he sets the first time of this lap, braking once again for Stowe, looking the race for the likes of Mansell moves then, and then it's down towards Vale for the final part of this circuit, shifting nicely down to the left-hander, flicking the car right, and then get your car turned round before you put your foot to the floor and you cross the line. A 1:27.4 is the first lap set in the academy.
Yeah, not bad. There's a time down at least. It's a solid enough lap. I think he's played it a little bit safe at times there. I would imagine that's going to get big quickly, and it does. And I think as the track starts to warm up, we'll see those times come into the 1:26s as Warrior puts a hell of a lap down there.
Yeah, that is a big lap. So I mean, there's only so much we can fit into 18 minutes. It's not like we've got the full qualifying sort of session to talk about, but just a few big things that we said. You mentioned earlier about the different strategy calls that will come into play in 50. Like you say, you've not got really either a soft to medium or medium to soft. It can be soft to hard, soft to medium to soft. It really is going to show drivers a little bit more of what they make of the circuit, what their sort of race strategy is. And as you mentioned, I think this will be a big thing in the race.
Yeah, I think that what we're going to see, the beauty of this is what we're going to see is lads thinking on their feet, drivers thinking on their feet. It's not a case of they've just preempted what's going to happen in the race. If something goes wrong early doors, you can't just put mediums on and hope to see out the rest of the race with it. You've got to really think about what's going on around you. Are you going to be in traffic? Are you not going to be in traffic? Can you spare your faster tyres for later on in the race? There's going to be a lot of decisions that are going to get made, and I think we're going to see ultimately the cleverer drivers come out on top.
Yeah, like you say, a big thing that I like to think is if you're going to start on the softs, obviously you're going to take the track position in this session, whereas if you go on the mediums, you're sacrificing obviously starting higher, but you do have that alternate stretch that allows you to run longer in the first stint, maybe do a one-stop compared to a two-stop on the softs. But like you say, I think that the drivers with their heads screwed on a little bit more than others will come a little bit further up the order than the others. But here we go then, 6 minutes down in this session. We've got 10 times almost set already. 9 I think is, as you can see on the left hand side there. Big time there from Warrior Huntsman, a 1:26.1 with the early run in. Interesting to mention that of the sort of top runners from last year, he's the only one still left in the academy. Wasn't able to commit to Thursdays, I don't think. Which is why he's still in the academy, but he came a close second, took it all the way down to that final race with the eventual winner Joe Williams last year. Sorry to break away, but Murphy's just gone second with a 1:26.2 in that racing point.
Wow. Yeah, I mean he's in the same cars last year, just a different colour. Gone from the Mercedes to the racing point. Ultimately, he's I have to say I drove with him the other day in a bit of a practice session, and he showed some really good pace then as well. So I'm interested to see whether or not this is his season where he's going to start really pushing and to make try and make a difference in this league, and hopefully he'll get a little bit more luck, because he's been a fair bit unlucky in these over the last season in certain races. He hasn't been his own best friend at times.
Yeah, and like I say, he deserved a lot more than he actually got last year. He's got an extra race this year, so that's another thing. We got an extra race this year. 11 instead of 10 to line with the other calendar. 11 races, so that extra race, like you say. A few other things, again, drifting here, there and everywhere, but to try and get it all in this 18 minutes. But another one of the big things as well for the academy is it used to be a separate championship in season 2, but this year it's all being combined once more, so it's the tier 1, tier 2 and tier 3 drivers all for the same team. Yeah,
that's absolutely class for me. I think it was a brilliant decision from the league admin. I think that was I think it brings a real togetherness and an importance for everyone to do their job. No one can hide now. All 3 leagues right across the board, you need to be doing your own towards the constructors. So no matter if you're doing your job, you need the others around you to be doing theirs. So I think that's going to certainly add excitement across the board.
Yeah. I think the good thing about the combined constructors championship is that even if your race doesn't go to plan, say you qualify 3rd and you spin or involved in contact first lap, you drop down to 12th. You've still got that whole race to try and score as many points for, like you say, for the constructors, because it's not just you anymore. It's not just you and your teammate. You've got 5 other drivers who are relying on you for that sort of big effort over these 11 races.
Well, I think at the back end of last season we saw what just like tiny little points make a difference. Last race of the season, I think it was at Warrior that came from nowhere to get 2 points on the board, and that was enough to put him joint top. Obviously, in the end, it's gone down to the equal points. In the end with Joe Williams, it was incredible, but those 2 points put him in the mix to actually give him a chance to win.
Yeah, I think it was more than incredible. I think it went down from all the tiebreakers to average finishing position or something like ridiculous. That they had the same highest finish, they had the same amount of wins, same pole positions. I think it literally went down to just average finishing position, and in the end it was Joe Williams' consistency that took in there. Oh, Digweed has a big moment. Digweed's had a big moment there coming through Farm, and he's gone into the gravel. That's not good for those tyres. And he has gone off the first real big spin we've seen today then. Look out for that first corner in the race as well. I think if you get through that unscathed, then it's a big effort.
Yeah, I think both Abbey and Cops today are going to be big talking points. Certainly at the start of the race when everyone's jockeying for position in the fast corner, it is hard to keep control of it, and I myself have certainly had some understeer going around that corner before, depending on what sort of setup you've got down for the race, and it's quite easy to turn the nose in the inside. You jockey back to the other way to try and straighten up the wheel, and as soon as that grip grabs hold of the wheels, it's very, very difficult to then recover.
Yeah, I think this is a big thing about the academy. So if you've tuned in before, you'd know that we run this as sort of the development division as such. Not all the drivers are as bad as you'd like to probably officially associate with a development. It's not about that at all.
Yeah.
It's drivers that are new to league racing. People like Immortal Viking that we've got in this year, Kieran. We've got drivers that have changed assists, so you might recognise McConey from tiers 1 and 2. He's dropped down because I think he's taken off some assists and he's lost quite a lot of pace. We don't mind that. This is what the Academy Division is for. It's all about that development.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing to promote that as well is that we've mentioned him earlier. Ja Williams won the title last year. It was only fair that he went up, so he's gone up to tier 2 this year. Warrior Huntsman, as I said, has stayed in the academy, so I expect him to be up there this season as well. But looking on the left hand side, you don't see the likes of Super Gabu. He's gone up, he's in tier 2 next year. We've lost Royal Viking to the tier, but our Christian Galanga reserve, to 125.947 into the 125s already.
Yeah, seriously fast lap. That's going to take some beating as well, by the way.
Yeah, just 6.5 minutes left. Jesus, absolutely flown, almost 2/3 through this session. As a Salt King lap time was a 127.2. I'm not sure if he's gone again, but he's a 10th up in this second sector. Red fuel light is flashing as he comes down then through Stoke Corner. Can he improve on 7th place?
I think it's worth mentioning as well that Royal Viking that's moved up into the tier above. Last race of the season, he put on an absolute display in Bahrain, and I think that was why he is now in the position that he's in the tier 2. He deserves his go off display. By doing that in the academy, it gets recognised.
Yeah, it does indeed. Another thing that sort of it was implemented last year, but it's been done a little bit more this year, is the reserve system that runs in tiers 1 and 2. Last year, a few drivers like Super Gabu, Warrior, and those did go in reserve, but they've got first dibs this year. So if a driver can't make it from their team with a combined championship now, as it is, so they will have first choice to race in the tier 2 and gain that more valuable experience.
Yeah, that's again, a brilliant idea. It just shows that the division at CRL at the moment is ever developing. That's very, very positive.
Yeah. So in the meantime, while we just wait for the last 5.5 minutes, a lot of drivers on flyers, on in-laps, on out-laps. Just a quick check through to see those of you that are joining. Welcome along. I've seen Ja Williams is in the comments there. Last year's champion tuning in. Can't unfortunately defend it this year, but who will we see take it from him this year? We've got a couple of tier 2 drivers in. I'm seeing Sadistic King and Jack DNF. Welcome along. We got Nathan and Jacob, the Booth boys. They're tuning in to see. Welcome along to James TLH as well. He's a new driver this year in tier 1. So it's not just academy that's seeing new drivers come in to boost the sort of ability factors across all tiers. So as you mentioned earlier there, Danny, that CRL really is in a bit of a buzz as we start Series 3.
That's good. We've got a McLaren just joining, Dat Rowland, so hopefully he'll be joining in. He's not got long to get himself out on the track and put a lap down, though.
Yeah, Vegas and Sprunky. Oh, Jack Dumpf. He didn't like I said Jack DNF. He's having a bit of a moan, as always. It's Jack Dumpf, apparently. Doesn't like me calling it DNF. So there we are. Yeah, but as you said, Dat Rowland is in. I think there might be a little issue with Sprunky. Vegas is joining as well. So good to have him in. He wasn't meant to be racing Vegas. So he is in. Important to note as well that I think there's one reserve racing today. That is Christian Galang. So a big driver over the last 2 years in the academy. He's back in now. He's taken pole position as well, but one of the most loyal reserves. So here we go.
Just bear with me. I'm just going to try and bring a couple of drivers in, I believe.
Yeah, I think Sprunky and Kieran is about to say his lap. Kieran goes 10th, so the Alfa Romeo puts himself into the top 10 with his teammate. So remember that drivers in the top 10 will be on these tyres for the start of the race. There you go, Sprunky is in. Welcome back, Sprunky. This is always annoying when you see for drivers they get connection issues midway through races, having to join in late, but it's always good to have them back. So as we look then into the last 3 minutes of this session, it's Christian Galang ahead of Warrior Huntsman. Digweed back racing full time in CRL and back right up at the top. That 126.136, just 2/10 of Christian Galang and 2/100 of Warrior Huntsman. Look out for them then in the race. That promises to be an exciting little battle, like you say. The pink Mercedes is alongside. As we got Luke. Luke is in as well. That is good to see, but he needs to be quick in to get these lap time sorted. 2.5 minutes gone. No qualifying glitch anymore. Unable to be used following the latest update. A few drivers tried a bit of last year getting their last laps worth. But as you can see already, apart from Shadow Moody, who's at a 1:29.1, it's quite close then. Only about 1.7 seconds between first and 12th place. Who is that's just joined as well? Or did that someone just leave? I'm not sure. But we're on board then with Murphy for his, what I presume will be his final flying lap. He's coming down the Wellington straight then. Look out for a lot of overtakes late on the braking into Brooklands. Bottas and Hamilton-esque is what I expect in the race today. Speaking of expectations, any thoughts on first of all the season and then second of all this race, Danny?
I'm just sorry. I'm just trying to get people invited into it at the moment. I've been asking for a few people that haven't quite made it to the session. So, I think it's going to be a very, very close one. I think it's evident already that there's some pretty sharp drivers in this. I didn't think that Christian would get beat on that time, in fairness, in the 25s, and it doesn't look like at the moment someone is going to. So, Warrior, he's got to be up there. Digweed, obviously, we know he's shown pace in the past. He's had a little bit of a breakout, and he's come back, so I expect big things of him this season. Murphy had shown loads of promise in previous qualifiers, but seems to never get quite the look of the draw in the races, and just that one mistake seems to cost him so much in the races. It's usually the in-lap when the tyres start to just degradate a little bit, and he just has a little bit of a wobble, and it costs him big time. So I hope he can rectify that this season. And on top of that, you've then got, even in this session alone, if you're referring to this, multiple people that you can see that are newcomers, and it's going to be very interesting to see what they can do.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned just there about a mistake, and as you said, that unfortunately Sprunky, out to try and set a flying lap, has lost his front wing on the out lap, so I don't think he'll be able to get a lap in. We wait then, there's 13 seconds left in the session. We've got a few drivers out on the laps, including the Dat Roland that we've mentioned earlier. He's coming up the hangar straight now. He's looking for a 1:25.9. Big Ben's in. Is he going to be back in time though? I'm not quite sure. I think the timing has gone. Yes, checker flag has dropped. So Christian Galang remains on pole position, a 1:25.947, but he's gone faster, a 1:25.631. Great early pace from Christian then. What will Dat Roland muster from his first lap? Oh, it's a 1:25.7. First lap of the day sees him go just a 10th shy of Christian Galang, and he puts that McLaren on the front row. We've got a few drivers still out. There's Murphy. He's 6/10 up. He goes third at 1:25. Wow. What about Tomo? He's coming through Maggots and Beckett's now, but he's 9 seconds up on his time. I think he might have made a mistake. What about Assault King? He's gone purple in sector 2, 5/10 up on his previous best. That would give him a 1:26.7 as it stands, but can he get any faster? He's currently in 10th place. Only his teammate above him can be setting a faster time. He comes through the final corner now then, and he goes up to 8th, that 1:26.5. And I think that is it for the first session. No, we've got Van Gogh Verden has invalidated, and he has crossed the line. And there we have it, Danny. That is qualifying done and dusted for the first time this year.
Now, there won't be many 18 minutes that pass as quick as that.
No, I certainly tell you that. We won't have as much information to fit in 18 minutes as well either. So glad that's done and dusted. So pole position then, Christian Galang with a 125.6.
3 drivers in the 125. It's all really, really solid laps. Then you know, they deserve to be 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, certainly was a very, very good lap indeed. Important to remember that he is a reserve. Has raced in tier 1 and 2, but still he's only a tenth quicker than, so that just goes to show just how good this division has become. And there you see just 2 tenths between the top 3 in fact, and last year's runner-up Warrior Huntsman down in 4th place. So there we have it, first qualifying done and dusted.
Yeah, I think there's 1 or 2 that would have probably expected themselves to maybe do a little bit better. MUFC Harvey possibly. I'd have expected him a little bit higher up the grid maybe, but that might be a testament to the lads that have come in and shown a bit of pace.
Yeah, I said the interesting thing to look out for now that it is a 50% race distance is MUFC Harvey there was always stronger last year in races compared to qualifying. I think it might have been a little bit of the pressure on the sort of lap you need to find, but he's got first choice of fresh tyres, so if he opts for the mediums I think he's in a good position for a high points finish, because all of the top 10 are on those softer compound tyres.
Yeah, I think it's one thing he did show last season, in fairness to him, was consistency. And I think that a lap showing consistency today, you are right, he's got every chance of being up there. As long as he has a good start and he can keep pace with those medium tyres. Of course, there's going to be a formation lap, so he needs to try and get as much heat in them as he possibly can.
Yeah, it's a big thing, your tyre temperatures here in Silverstone. As you said, you've come in through Abbey and Farm at quite high speeds, close to 200 miles an hour, and then it's a really sharp braking zone into Village, that first right-hander at turn 3, and if your brakes and tyres aren't up to temperature, you're going one way, and that is into the car in front of you, or just into the gravel if there's no cars there. So like you said, it's very interesting how these cars should start.
Yeah, it's, the Village corner is certainly a one that's very hard to get the grip.
Yeah, so here we go then. As you can see there, it is now 26. Is this a formation lap? It looks.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it is.
That confused me a little bit there.
A second there. Yeah, no, we're good. It is formation.
I saw the Renault in the background going pretty early on, and I thought to myself, "Oh God." No, but there you can see Marconi and Piero, not a very good start to the season for them. That is a DSQ. So they've obviously had contact. They will not be up to temperature as they sit on the grid while we wait for the rest of the field to get round. Luis Coelho's in. Welcome along, Luis. Didn't make qualifying, but he's in for the race. That is good to see.
Good stuff, Louis.
So as we see there, the predicted pit stops, either the mediums or hards. If that was you, where would you be going off from the softs? Would you go mediums or hards?
It depends what sort of stint I had on the softs, if I'm being honest. Depends on what lap I was going to come in. If I could get plenty of... if I looked after my tyres well enough and I wasn't in too many scrambles and fights early doors in the race, then I reckon I would probably try and go soft medium, but ultimately it depends. It depends if there's a lot of fighting early doors, even lose a bit of traction, or you're wearing your tyres a lot, then maybe I would go soft hard.
Yeah, I think personally, I think a soft medium's well around here. Runs very well. But one thing I will say that I've just noticed, MUFC Harvey in 10th place. So somebody somewhere has gained a grid penalty. I think it's Immortal Viking, because he was up in 3rd or 4th at one point. He's now down in 17th. So I think Immortal Viking was disqualified from qualifying, and that has promoted MUFC Harvey into 10th. And on those medium tyres, I think that is very, very good for him.
Yeah, watch this space as far as he's concerned. Just needs to keep himself out of any dramas early doors as they all come back round.
So here we go then, a quick run through of the grid before we start this race. It's Galang on pole, Dat Rowland second, Murphy and Huntsman row 2, it's Digweed and Tomo row 3, 7th for Kieran, 8th for Assault King, it's McConey in 9th, Harvey in 10th. On those medium tyres, look out for that, it's Piero in 11th, Van Goverdon in 12th, Shadow Moody and Big Ben make up row 7, the 2 Ferraris 15th and 16th, 17th for Immortal Viking, 18th for Vegas and Luis Coelho in 19th as the cars get ready then for this first race in the CRA of Season 3, kicking off CRL. We've got lights out. It's 5 red lights. And away we go then. It looks like a poor start from Murphy. Oh, we got a car almost into the wall. That's Digweed down there in 5th. He's managed to gain a few positions, but who's going to be first as they come through farm? Oh, and there's a racing point going right. Dan Rowland's looking around the outside, inside towards Village. Who's going to be ahead? We've got yellow flags already. Warrior Huntsman up into 3rd place. Assault King stormed off. Oh, and there's a spinning Alfa Romeo in the background there. Luke Knox got a 10-second penalty already. Oh, and Williams. That's McConey going wide into turn 5. Yellow flags in sector 1, and there's a Ferrari in the wall. That's Sprunky.
Sprunky. Yep, big
Sprunky.
hit. Just took the wing off completely. Yes.
Into the wall for Sprunky then, as Dat Rowland has taken the lead in these early stages. He's pulled away from Christian Galang. We've got fighting down. I think Tomo Tip-Top's gone wide, or spun it. No, he's spun it coming out of Luffield. So Tomo down to 15th now. A few early spins in this race. Sprunky still able to get going. Luke Knock has lost his front wing as well. Harvey, I did say it looked like he had optimum strategy, but he is now down in 18th. Not a very good start for one of last year's most consistent performers. Big Ben down in 19th as well. Quite a lot of front wing damage across the field. I expect to see a few pit stops as we see Warren Husband.
I think Kieran's dropped 6 positions right from the start. However, it looks like he's still got his wing, and he's trying to make his way back up. He's just making the pass on McConey now. He's there's a lot of scrambling back there for positions. I don't know what happened at that first corner, but it was absolute pandemonium.
Yeah, I think it was one of those, you don't know. And here we go then. Warrior Husband looking down the inside of Christian Galang as they go towards that. I think Digweed might have pit already as well. Not quite sure what is going on. As MUFC Harvey has a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pits. We got a few tech problems as is customary.
Yeah,
with...
I don't think Digweed's not pit. I don't think he's sat in 3rd at the moment.
He's in
out
3rd, yeah. Luke Knock up into 7th. Yeah, quite a few drivers all over the place. Not us, unfortunately. It is the game, but that will do us for now. There you go. You can see there is Murphy. That's not Murphy. That is not Murphy either. Very hard to know. Apparently Sprunky and Luke Knock.
Give it a second. We'll catch up. Bear with us.
It will catch up. But as it stands, then it is Dat Rowland, I believe. In 3rd now, as Warrior Huntsman and Christian Galang have jumped him. So Christian Galang now leads this race. I think Dat Rowland must have made a mistake in sector 1 or 2. He's now dropped. We've got yellow flags in sector 2. There's a car off at Beckett's, I believe that is. That looks like Kieran. So you mentioned about how he still had his front wing intact, but I think he's gone round. And he is back running, but has he got all of his front wing? No, he has not. So Kieran has lost part of his front wing. That is not good for him. Christian Galang starts lap 3, and DRS is enabled for the first time here in season 3. Look out for that Rowland. Then he's gaining on these leading pair.
Yeah, I think it's a good shout to also mention Immortal Viking. You said that he'd had a drop down in the grid positions, but all of a sudden he's popped himself 12 places up and into 5th position. It's a great start for him.
Yeah, he's right up there. McLaren then representing 2 of the top cars. We've got Ferrari off. Oh, that's not good. I think I've just seen a reset to track, unfortunately, for Sprunky. That is against the rules, unfortunately. Oh, no, it's Digweed's lost connection. I think Digweed has lost connection. He has left the session.
Oh, no.
That is not what you want to see on your return to CRL. Unfortunately, that sometimes is the way it goes, though. We've got a few drivers have come into the pits. A few hard tyres on down the pack as Murphy and Assault King going wheel to wheel through Cops, and it's the Red Bull that makes it out in front. A lot of early time penalties then in this 3rd season. Is Murphy going to be able to make a move then in DRS? He gets a good exit, but Assault King got what looks like an even better one, but the DRS just pulls him ever closer. That Mercedes engine in the back is going to pull to the right on the inside of Stoke Corner. Get your braking right, Murphy. Not this time. Assault King has the confidence to keep it stuck to the outside, and he remains ahead of the racing point. And here comes Piero making a light lunge. Oh, that was late from Piero, and he's done well to keep away from an incident. He's getting very close at the front of this Grand Prix, as Dat Rowland has made it past then Warrior Huntsman, and Immortal Viking is up into 4th place. Here we go then. Is this going to be a move for the lead? Dat Roland 6/10 behind as they come down the Wellington straight. In the background you can see Warrior Huntsman and the other McLaren of Immortal Viking. Not this time, but he'll look to stick close as they come round Luffield.
So Digweed's partner in crime is Piero. He's up into 7th position. He's gone up 4th from P11. It's not a bad start, I suppose. The two lads there at the top end, Mercedes.
Yeah, it's so unfortunate for Digweed that he's had a disconnection at this stage as Van Gogh Verden looks to capitalise on his misfortunes. Still plenty of time for Digweed then to rejoin the session.
Yeah, it's only lap 4:26. There's plenty of time. If he gets back in now, he's still involved in this race. He doesn't have to worry.
Oh, it's Van Gogh Verden spin. Sorry to interrupt. I was on board with Van Gogh Verden, and he was trying. Oh, and there's a Red Bull that's gone straight on. Tomo Tip Top has gone straight on as well. Action down at Maggots and Beckett's as Vegas is looking over the back of McConey. Luis Coelho up into 9th place as well. You can see McConey speeding past the Renault on the outside in the run down towards Stowe. Just to catch you up if you weren't on board there. So Van Gogh Verden was trying to overtake Digweed's Ghost, and he's made a hash of the braking zone because he got confused there. He's touched the grass and it sent him into a spin, and then Tomo Tip Top in the background has just gone straight on into the gravel, and he's dropped down into 13th. Yellow flags out in sector 3 then for Williams. I think once again that is Van Gogh Verden. It is, and this time he has lost his front wing, so he's not kept out of trouble with those warm tyres.
Do you know, I really want Van Gogh Verden. After last season, he did finish the season pointless, and I know that he'll be desperate. He was in the Racing Point last year. He's in the Williams this year. I know he'll be desperate just to get in those points, just to say that he has, and to sort of really show progress for him. So I really hope he can sort this out.
Yeah, Kieran had another spin down at Maggots and Beckett's. Unfortunate for him. Vegas and Luis Coelho having their own little battle. But back at the front of this Grand Prix, it's Christian Galang leading Dat Roland, who's in the DRS then. 5/10 behind as they come out of Chapel. Is he going to be close enough to make a move? No, he's not. Christian's got a great exit down the Hanger Straight. And he remains in front. Warrior Huntsman then trying to keep with this battle, but he's dropping back by a few tenths a lap then, as are Viking and Murphy. Now Murphy keeping this little battle with Assault King going. They've been chopping and changing over the last couple of laps in the DRS. Oh, as Assault King was looking there, you could see on the inside of turn 16, sorry. 18 turns at this Silverstone circuit, and he was looking to make the most of those final few there. But he remains behind the Racing Point for now.
Steady, lads. That Roland was half a second behind Galang. He then gone to 2/10 behind. He's back to half a second behind. So these two are obviously tussling at the front of affairs as well. They've built up 2 seconds plus on Warrior Huntsman in 3rd. Yeah,
it's ever so. I think DRS, or as Christian Galang goes very, very wide. Coming out of Luffield as they come out of Woodcote. Now, lovely camera shot from the helicopter. You can see just how flat Copse can be as you put your foot to the floor. It's a little bit of a tricky corner, Copse, because when you've got a bit of tyre wear, it's a bit of a... I like to downshift just a little bit, keep a bit of the grip in the tyres as you keep maximum traction through the flicky left-right section of Maggots and Beckett's, and you can just see how much more confident Dat Roland is as he takes a lot of the curb on the left. He's got DRS once again, but once more it's Christian Galang staying ahead because of that great exit.
Yeah, Copse can be, it can make or break a race. Certainly when you're in the, it's who's got the bravery to go for it. You know, when you're behind a car trying to chase on, and you're trying to get that few tenths to get inside a DRS. Are you going to take the risk? Sometimes it pays off. Sometimes it can finish your race.
Yes, McConey drifting quietly along in 8th place. He's got Vegas behind him on DRS. He's got yellow flags in sector 2, and it's the Ferrari's not having the greatest day today. I think once again that is Sprunky. Yeah, he's gone off again, this time at Brooklands. Him, Kieran and Luke not having the greatest. Van Gogh Verden as well. We said he was looking good for a decent race, but he keeps spinning, unfortunately for him. A bit of a tale of his career in CRA.
Yeah.
Oh, as Dat Roland goes round the outside. Dat Roland goes round the outside of Brooklands and takes the lead of this race on lap 7. Lovely little move from the McLaren driver, and now it's down to Christian. Can he keep up with him through the fast sector 2?
What I would say is they're clearly having a big fight because none of them have a particular amount of ERS left, considering how long we've still got to go. They're almost depleted entirely, the pair of them, so you can tell that they're certainly battling each other at the front to try and get that optimal position and pull away from the pack.
Yeah,
Warriors starting to close a bit up.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what happened there exactly, but we saw that Roland go around the outside at Brooklands. Had the lead into Luffield, so got them moved on, but then he pulled to the side on the old pit straight and ran down towards Klopp. So whether he's made a mistake or bumped him, had a lead overtake remains to be seen, but he regave the lead to Christian Galang. So I think all we can say from up here is there's good sportsmanship if he has had something wrong. So it's Christian Galang back in the lead then, but just keep an eye on this battle then. And as you mentioned, no real ERS, so neither driver looking to keep it.
Yeah, Warrior Huntsman also with little ERS. I would be keeping a little eye on Immortal Viking after an unbelievable start. He's only 3 seconds behind the leaders now, so he's doing really well for his debut.
Yeah, up in 4th place. You can see him just at the back of the picture there. This group's starting to pull away now from Murphy. We've got a Renault off in Sector 3. That is Lewis. That is Shadow Moody just being overtaken by his teammate, and once again that Roland all over the back of the Alfa Romeo as they run down towards Cops. I think that Roland is certainly one to look out for then as the season wears on. Immortal Viking there suffering the magnanimity of a 3-second time, but quite a lot of those today. Christian Galang just touches the grass, but he's got a very good exit once again. Dat Roland almost reluctant to put his foot down. As we see down the back of the field, and the gaps starting to spread out a little bit. Now we can see Murphy starting to pull away from Assault King, but he's being dropped by Immortal Viking at the same time. Piero cruising along in 7th. McConey and Vegas 8th and 9th. Vegas then the one to watch out for as it stands. The medium tyres after that early pit stop.
So just had word in my ear that Digweed had connection issues indeed. So as presumed, it was connection issues. Unfortunately, he's having more trying to get back into the race. So he is trying to get back in, and hopefully we'll have him back soon. Yeah,
as you said, it could be a problem here, and a problem for Christian Galang, a double problem in fact. He's got overtaken by that Roland, so he's now down in 2nd, and at the same time he's been handed a 3-second penalty for multiple incidents and multiple warnings, so he is now in 2nd and in need of a big performance in the second half of this race. It's lap 9 of 26, and Dat Roland takes the lead again this time, and this time he does in fact keep it, so he's now there. But look at that, Warrior Huntsman has got that gap down from 2 seconds last lap to just 0.8 to the car in front of him. He'll have DRS in the run down the Wellington in the Hangar Straight, sorry. But he's just been given a 3-second time penalty himself. You saw him run a little bit wide.
Yeah, he's just took himself outside of DRS time zone as well, so he's going to have to push a little bit to get back inside that and give himself a chance, which he has straight away, but he's jumped in the pits.
Straight away, but he's going for that early undercut then. So here we are, the first of the runners into the pit lane. Warrior Huntsman pits from 3rd. That puts 2 McLarens on the podium. Dat Roland dropping Christian Galang then 1.2 seconds as they cross into Abbey. Warrior Huntsman, will he go on the mediums or hards? We shall wait and see. We've got Red Bull mechanics out, we've got Racing Point mechanics out, so it's the mediums for Warrior. Can he take them 16 laps to the end of the race? We shall see. Who else is in? Murphy's coming in then, so a lot of the drivers thinking now is the time to get those tyres changed. Mediums for them, mediums for Assault King as well. That little battle is going to keep on going as they take the same strategy. The first Williams of McConey is in. Tomo Tip Top comes in. Vegas then on the mediums continues out up into 5th place as Christian Galang has gotten past Dat Roland. So in the meantime of all this pit strategy, these leading 2 runners are still neck and neck.
I've just seen as well that Dat Roland, I believe, has just got a 3-second time penalty as well, so there's certainly a few penalties coming around here. That might come into play a little bit later on. I'm also pleased to say that I believe Digweed's now got back in control of his Mercedes.
Yeah, I saw the little line at the bottom he has joined, which is always good to see when a driver can, and the good thing about moving to a 50% is that if this was last season, he would only have 3 laps left, but instead he's got 16. So
good.
As much as he would be ruining the old connection. Oh, that run was very, very wide, and Christian Galang boxes. So who will win this strategy battle, Galang or Dat Roland? We will wait to see. What about Digweed then? So
they've gone on different strategies there. Christian Lang's just gone into the pits. Dat Roland's chosen to stay out. So see how that comes to the fore. See whether he can undercut.
Yeah, the 10 laps seems to be sort of the limit. I wonder whether Dat Roland's tyres are starting to go. We'll jump on board with him quickly, and you can sort of see on that right-hand tyre, it's particular that in the sunlight, the wear that they have started to go. He's got a little bit of ERS to maybe get him through this lap, but I wouldn't expect him to stay out much longer.
No.
As Digweed boxes, so Digweed is back racing and he's back into the box. It's always good to see. He's down in 8th place. Still has a few cars in front of him. Oh, as Warrior Huntsman is almost on the back of Christian Galang as they come out. So Warrior Huntsman pit earlier on lap 9. He pit a lap earlier than Christian Galang, and he's all over the back of his gearbox with his tyres up to temperature as they come down the Wellington Straight. But it looks like once again the Alfa Romeo just gets that traction out the corner.
Yep, so Immortal Viking obviously is tucked up behind that Roland now in second position, just 4.5 seconds, so he is still narrowing the gap slowly but surely, although it did drift from 3 seconds actually, but it looks as if the pair of them are going to be losing a bit of pace and they're going to have to come at the end of this lap surely.
Yeah, you can see the gap between Dat Roland and Vegas down in 4th place as Dat Roland pits, so the gap was about 30 seconds, and you will lose about 35 to 40 in this pit lane at Silverstone, one of the longest on the calendar.
They're going to double tap. They're going to back themselves up here.
Yeah, that is not good at McLaren. That is not good for Immortal Viking. He is going to be stuck, and you can see there, that is not good. Not good indeed.
That's big time lost in the pits there. He's not going to be happy about that. Should have gone in. He might have presumed his teammate might have gone in the lap before, possibly. See when they come out.
So Piero takes the lead of this race, still yet to box as Christian Galang has got out ahead of Dat Roland. So that undercut working as he's a second in front of. We've got Vegas been passed by Galang, and Warrior Huntsman is stuck behind Vegas, so a good lap there from Christian Galang to put himself in that position. Vegas, remember, yet to pit as the Alpha Tauri there, and you can just see how much that has affected Immortal Vikings. Now 8 seconds off the car in front, 9 off his teammate, and he's got Murphy all over the back of him on tyres that are up to temperature, but Murphy runs very, very wide there at Brooklands, takes a lot of the curve. Van Gogh Verden lets them past. It's not been the greatest of second halves for this race for him.
Yeah, not the opener that he would have wanted. We've got to keep hoping, got to keep practicing, got to keep going, and see whether or not he can
get
a thing out of the races to come. But I think today's it's looking certainly over for him today.
So a lot of drivers, I think, now have made at least... Oh, as Van Gogh Verden goes very, very wide again as we look at the pits, if I can find them. What one is it? There we go.
So Immortal Viking just made a mistake, just going at the Chapel turn, going on to, which straight is it? Hanger Straight before Stowe, and Murphy's got a little bit of time to catch him back up.
Yeah, so Warrior Huntsman...
Still over a second behind.
Yeah, Warrior Huntsman back past Vegas. He's now in third, and you can see there on the left-hand side just 2 drivers that haven't pitted. Piero's in the box now. Vegas on that alternate strategy probably can go a few more laps longer and then put in a lot of good lap times on these softs in the second half. The fastest lap currently then Big Ben down in 10th, 1:28.9. I'd expect that to change though as the track starts to evolve. Welcome Racing Slade into the stream. He has unfortunately not been able to race today, but he is cheering on his teammate in the Alpha Tauri, defending Constructors Champions, as we said earlier. Alpha Tauri just edged out Williams on that last race of the season.
Yeah, it just showed how close it was last season. Alpha Tauri, they finished 143 points. That was only 8 points winning margin against the Williams in second position. Obviously, Jar Williams, who's now moved up, so that was one hell of a fight between the 2 drivers to finish the season, and in the end, the It's certainly done a lot for the constructors as well, but of course, Capawanda was with Warrior, and they got the title in the end.
Yeah. I said it's luck of the draw that Warrior Huntsman is in the same seat as last year, but he seemed to have quite an affinity with that car last year. So here's hoping that he has it again. We got another Williams off at Nuggets and Beckett's from the minimap there. I think that once more is Van Gogh Verden, not been, as we said, the greatest races. But Vegas is back past Warrior because Warrior has spun at Club. So Warrior was 2 seconds behind that Roland. He's now 8 seconds behind after that spin, and Vegas moves up onto the podium as it stands. Back at the front of this race, and that Roland has sorry Danny, but that Roland has DRS on Christian Galang, and it doesn't look like he'll get past this time.
No, Immortal Viking just made a tiny little error there behind Warrior Huntsman, just let the gap open back up a little bit. I thought he got inside DRS, but doesn't look like he has. Digwe's left the session again. It's not going well for the lad. That's another connection issue, and he's out again.
Yeah, time penalties continue to fly as Christian Galang runs very, very wide at Cops. That'll be at least a warning, you would imagine. And that's brought that Roland right up onto his gearbox. They come through Chapel. As Digweed sets the fastest lap time of 1:25.3. In all that, he has set the fastest lap of the race.
He must have done the majority of it, surely.
Yeah, you would like to imagine. And here we go then, Christian Galang trying to defend that lead. He's done well to keep ahead in the DRS zone. Big Ben making a move past Kieran. Tomo goes on the inside of Cops. That is a lovely move. But Piero has the better traction on the outside and remains in front of the Red Bull driver, who gets a 3-second time penalty though for running wide. But Piero's made another mistake, and it's going to be DRS for the Red Bull. He goes to the inside. He's going to look to do the old Mansell on PK. Who's going to have the better braking zone? We wait to see. Tomo tips up down the inside, and he gets that move done. Does require a lot of grass though, as he gets it completed. He moves up into 9th place. His teammate then. Battle. Yeah, a few good battles going around now. As we see that Roland all over the back of Christian Galang once more. Is he going to have a move into Cops this time? He seems to leave it to the hanger straight, but he's backing off as they come through Cops, then making sure. Oh, there you go. I said he'd run wide last lap. He's run wide again, and it's another time penalty for the Alfa Romeo driver.
Yeah, I've seen a few people go up into 8 and stay in 8 all the way around that corner, and I just don't think that they're getting quite as much grip as they would have if they'd have just dropped a gear, maybe, as you say, dropped a gear for that little bit more grip around that corner and a little bit more speed on the exit.
I said it does cost you a little bit of time in terms of speed, because it's effectively engine braking, but it just means that you can keep your foot planted and have that bite from the tyres in the run down towards Magnussen and Beckett's. And it does work if the driver in front of you, like we said there, just stays in that 8th gear and struggles. As Vegas then on the alternate strategy pits. Look out for where he comes. He will be on these softer tyres for this final part of the race, lap 16 of 26, and it's Christian Galang that leads that Roland by just 0.2. As Murphy gets
everyone. Sorry,
I was just going to say Murphy gets another penalty.
Just going to add, all I was going to add is that Vegas is obviously going to be the last now for a pit stop. That's everybody on the track had a pit stop. Big Ben with 2, MFC Harvey Sprunky and Kieran all having 2 stops. Everyone else with the 1 now, and you would expect that would be the last of the pits unless there's any dramas.
Yeah, and he comes out in 10th place as Vegas, so very, very good position to score some points today. Coming out in 10th place on the softer compound already. The cars in front of him, Piero and Tomo, have both penalties and old medium tyres. So look for him then as this race continues to go. I expect to see a fastest lap in the next couple from him as well. Like I said, reduced fuel loads, fresher tyres, faster tyres. Certainly looks to be a good day for him. His teammate down in 11th. But the big thing I think we need to say is with time penalties, we don't know without checking who's got what. So it's very hard to know till they cross the line who's going to have what. As that Roland looks to capitalise on Christian Galang running wide, but he remains behind him then as we start lap 17 into the final slug of this race. Oh, Dat Rowland joins another penalty club. 3 seconds for Piero as well. He's run very, very wide, and that's allowed Vegas to go clean around the outside of Chapel, open DRS, and look to chase down Tomo in the Red Bull in front of him. You can see there just on the exit of Stowe.
So I can confirm at the moment that Warrior Huntsman just has 1 penalty behind the front 2, with Dat Rowland having 3, Christian Galang only having 2. So Warrior Huntsman, if he gets close enough.
Yeah. So as you talk there, we've got another Ferrari gone wide at Cops. That is, I think, Sprunky. As Sprunky retires, then, so Sprunky has retired from the session.
Oh.
And it looks like he's retired on track, Sprunky. Not what you need to be doing there. That is not good. But while you were checking time penalties there, Danny, Dat Rowland took the lead from Christian Galang, as Van Gogh Verden, not his day at all. He's gone wide to allow a car through, and it's given him a 10-second time penalty.
And it's he's removed his front wing. He's really having a wow. He's having a bad time. Yeah. He's got hards on, so I think he's just struggling a little bit. Yeah. Maybe just pull in this point. I think is probably the best option, really. Yeah. I saw Digweed join the session again, so he's having an absolute nightmare with that. Hopefully he can get back in his car. Is it this time a little bit too little too late? Potentially, but still all to play for at the top.
Yeah, and as you said, with those penalty situation, so if my maths are correct, Christian Galang would take the victory. Dat Rowland would finish 2nd, and Warrior Huntsman, I think, would finish 3rd. Yeah. In terms of podium, Immortal Viking with a couple more penalties than Warrior Huntsman, I think you said there.
Yes. Yes, I think at the moment as well, you've got Dat Rowland on 5 laps of mediums, with Christian Lang on 6, Warrior Huntsman on 7. All on the mediums at the front there. Immortal Viking is only on 5 laps with the mediums, and Vegas in the 9th place is obviously on the softs and gone for that different strategy, and he's only 1 lap into his softs, so he's got 8 laps now to really get his teeth stuck into that. Luke, I think he's going to have to go in the pits again soon. And Digweed, I think he must have pulled in to retire from the session. So
yeah, he has unfortunately retired from the session. Not the greatest return to CRL for him. Connection issues, and he literally had just spun before he retired. So he is out of this race. Hopefully he will persevere and keep with us. We love him here at CRL. Has been with us since season 1. Drove in the academy season 1. Yeah. And here we go, as we just check, like say, all drivers have stopped at least once. Vegas looking to make a move on Tomo, down and towards Stowe. Is he going to be late on the brakes? No, he is not. He thinks better of it. He's got those fresher tyres, remember. And we can see here he's got 5 tenths to the car in front and 8 seconds to the car ahead of Tomo. So it looks like we've got a few teams getting double points finishes then. So Red Bull's currently 6th and 8th, and the McLaren's 1 and 4.
Yeah, McLaren's are looking strong, aren't they? That's it's one hell of an opener for them currently, if they can stay where they are.
Yeah, I think it will be 2nd and 4th net once the penalties have been applied. Remember, still 7 laps to go, so anything can happen.
Yeah, as you say, 6th and 8th. So him and Tomo as well. They've both had a good outing so far. They need to keep it going. As a Salt King just nearly lost the back end of his car there, but he's managed to keep hold of it. Well done him.
Yeah, here comes Vegas then on the run down towards Cops. He's got a better exit than the Red Bull. Depresses ERS. I think that's a mistake people sometimes make, is depressing the ERS when you don't need to, as Tomo runs very, very wide. Especially coming out of a corner like that, you know that Cops is such a hard place to overtake as it is. Is it worth wasting the sort of last few percentages you've got of ERS?
Well, I think he's just about to go into DRS zone now, so he's obviously going to make a few tenths up, stay nice and close to Tomo, and then ultimately when he's got the straight, the Wellington straight, there's nothing stopping him effectively then using that ERS that he's collected, you know, and really putting the pressure on there as he gets closer and closer. He might.
Yeah, he's going to look down the inside then. Oh, he's not quite gone this time. he's thinking better of it, but I don't think it'll be long before those tyres start to degrade a little bit, and the advantage that he has goes away. But other than that, battle on track, all the drivers really a few seconds apart now, and it seems to be that unless anything drastic happens, like the penalty is another one for Immortal Viking, the race might just finish as it is.
It's potential. I'll just have a slip back into the race director and see if I can find out what's going on in terms of what everybody's got. Immortal Viking has 3 penalties at the moment, yep, so there wouldn't be any changes from him. Yeah, Murphy with 4. So, yeah, okay, so he's not going to be getting any closer at the end of the race either. So, yeah, it looks like it could be staying as it is. I mean, it's probably worth noticing that Assault King has had a very clean race today. He's only got one penalty so far, so that's a good thing for him, considering his end to the season last season.
Yeah, as Van der Verden goes off again, this time at Maggots and Beckett's. He's really struggling now down at the bottom of this pack.
He's got softs on, so he must have been back in again.
Yeah, he's been in the pits. Obviously, he replaced his front wing. Right. A driver I've been a little bit, I won't say disappointed because I think that's a harsh word to use, but I don't think his sort of race performance shows his true ability, is MUFC Harvey. Very consistent last year, but he's down in 16th place today after that early contact where he lost his front wing.
Yeah, he's going to be disappointed without a shadow of a doubt. He knows that he's got more ability and he's got certainly the speed and consistency to be high up on this field. I think he'll rectify that in the weeks to come. Just hopefully he does it sooner rather than later. And you've got to bear in mind that some drivers genuinely are stronger at some tracks than others, and it might just be a little bit of maybe it's just early season jitters as well, potentially coming into play.
I think that's another thing with the academy as well. A lot of these drivers haven't really raced competitively before, and like you say, the added bonus of this is the drivers and constructors, but the main thing obviously is for them development. So like you say, just those tracks that you aren't great on, just having always Kieran's going around the outside of Lewis into turn 15, I think that is. Lewis is going to stay around the outside, but the Alfa Romeo's gone through on the inside as the camera angle deceives us a little bit. It's a come around club, and it is indeed Kieran in front then.
Yep.
As that
got the job done, nice and clean.
Yeah, Dat Rowland just approaching this little battle to lap these cars. Make sure you get out of the way, as blue flags can be very annoying.
Tomo Tip Top is getting quite close to Vegas now. They are just coming into the hangar straight. He's got DRS. Is he going to get close enough to make a move? But he has been catching him slowly but surely. Vegas defends to the inside. Yeah,
I think this is what I was saying a couple of laps ago. It's that initial advantage of these softer tyres after 4 laps has started to go off a little bit. Whether they were scrub tyres or fresh, I'm not sure, but I think that initial advantage may come because it actually dropped back a bit from Makoni. It was 7 seconds, it's now 9.3. So he is starting to struggle a little bit. And at the front now, Christian Galang maintaining this 2.5 second lap or gap, or just under, sorry, from the leader, Dat Rowland. So he's doing what he needs to do in terms of penalties. I'm not sure whether he's checked with Jeff or not, whether he's got penalties, but he's setting personal best still on those mediums, so that's always good to see. As he comes down into Stowe, and the run up towards Valley, he's actually dropped back by a few tenths. I think that Rowland might have had the old DRS boost from the back markers, and he starts to sprint away a bit now. He's almost, and there he is, he's outside that 3 second gap. So as it stands, he would win the race by 0.02 of a second.
Yep, Warrior Huntsman, we said a while ago, he had a 9 second gap between him and the front two, and he hasn't been able to advance on that. So unfortunate for him, he hasn't been able to close the gap, because he was doing better in terms of his penalties that would come into play at the end of the race. But as you say, it is 1, 2, 3, and it will remain that should nothing else happen in the last 3 laps.
Yeah, I think we mentioned him earlier. Big shout out goes to Murphy again. Switched constructors this year in the Racing Point now, the pink Mercedes rather than the black Mercedes, and he seems to be having better luck. 6 seconds behind Immortal Viking, but 6 seconds ahead of Assault King.
Yeah, do you know, it's nice to see, and I hope I don't jinx him now and sort of put any problems onto the last three laps of his race. But I know personally that he's put a lot of effort into his practice. I know that he's trying harder and harder to get these right and get the lines right and improve his time. I think he's managing managing his race a little bit better now. Certainly in the first few laps, he just stayed nice and calm, didn't try anything silly. And obviously, once he's got a little bit of clean air and he can just concentrate on his own race and his own lines, I think he's all right. I think he looks well. His laps aren't bad, so I think he just needs to get this consistent right, and hopefully he could have a completely different season this season if all goes his way.
Yeah, as we've got Harvey retiring in the pit lane, then not the race he would have wanted first time out, but Big Ben has moved into the top 10 as well. He's fighting with Piero. He's going to look down the inside at Cops. This is brave from the pair of them, and the Merc just decides to back out, and Big Ben maintains 10th place. Tomo and Vegas still within that second of each other. The Red Bull just behind on tyres with double the life of the car in front of him.
I think Vegas is generally lapping a little bit quicker than Tomo, but obviously with him being behind and getting inside the DRS, he can just catch back up every time there's a few tenths made as he gets right up the back of Vegas. Going, is it club last corner yet? Yeah,
but he's also got that 3-second time penalty again, another one he's just been given coming out of Stowe. So again,
wobble as well.
Just not what he needs, and we've got 2 laps to go now. It's got Kieran has not abided by these blue flag rules. I'm not sure what the stewards would make of this, but he's kept with that Roland, and I'd be having words if I was Frank Vasseur. I'd be saying, look,
get out the way.
Get out the way, yeah. Causing a bit of trouble.
What's he doing? You blue flag, mate. Just get out of his way. Get out of his way. It's the race leader. I'm sure he won't have a choice but stay behind him in a second anyway, as long as he doesn't dive in again like that.
Yeah, the big thing though from that I'm not sure that Renault knows, but Christian Galang has gained about 3 tenths on him, and he's within that extra penalty window that he's got on his main competitor for this race. He's dropped Warrior though by a further second or 2 now, as the tyre where you can see starts to kick in, a little kick out from the Alfa Romeo there, and again coming out of turn 4, but it is Kieran once again just trying to race the leader, but he's gone straight on. I think that's a little bit of karma there, unfortunately.
Yeah, he did. He got DRS behind that Roland there, and I think he just tried to floor it and get back up alongside him. Unless he's using the race leader to try and measure a little bit of pace off him and see how quick he needs to go. But ultimately, you are at the back. You've got to let you can't affect their race. Albeit that the cars are shadowed, it's a distraction for the race leaders ultimately, which is why you need to get out of the way. Just as a ghost car is going and in and out of your own car, it's sometimes a little bit distracting. So a bit naughty by him, but he's now out of the way. I think Dan Rowland's pushed on.
He's out
just
the way
out to start his final lap.
Yeah, and his teammate Christian Galang has just got DRS from him. It's pulled him back within that 3 seconds, but that Roland, I think, might have done enough. Barring any mistakes on this final lap, might have done enough to take the first race season. Hopefully I've not used the old commentator's curse here, but he starts his final lap of the race and does that Roland. And Vegas once again on the inside of Tomo. He cops, but he's made a big mistake in the braking zone, and the Red Bull gets through the old switch back there at 200 miles an hour or close to, sees the Red Bull up into 8th place.
One hell of a move by Tomo Tip Top. You've got to give him credit where it's due. He stuck to that inside line and just took the position back. Will he be able to keep hold of it right to the end?
Thought he just might have got out of DRS. The gap was on a second, but he's unfortunately not. So the Vegas did have DRS. But he's got another 3-second time penalty. So I think once again it's going to come down to who's got the least penalties.
That's yellow off. Is that Shadow? I think that was either Shadow or Moody.
That is Shadow Moody. He was being the 2 runners were split by the Alpha, but as it stands, they are back to the way it was. The big news, though, at the front of this race is that Roland leads Christian Galang by 3.2 seconds, and the last time we checked, there was a 3-second penalty difference between the 2 drivers in favour of Christian. But as it stands, as that Roland comes down the hanger straight for the final time into Stowe corner, he's got a gap of 7 tenths. Started on the front row with just 1 flying lap in qualifying. He comes round the final few turns, round the club for the final time in this first race of the Academy season. And that Roland, is he going to take the victory? He certainly crossed the line first. He does. Yeah. He takes the victory ahead of Christian Galang. What a result for the McLaren driver. His debut here in the academy, and he's taken the victory. Warrior Huntsman crosses the line and will take what seems to be the final podium position. Yes, there we go. Immortal Viking with a lot of penalties. What about Murphy? I think Murphy might be able to jump the McLaren here based on penalties. That remains to be seen. No, he doesn't. No, so he stays in 5th.
Yeah, I mean, well done to Murphy though. He's just dropped a position. Assault King has just jumped ahead of Murphy.
Also, Assault King has gone ahead. We did say we don't know about penalties. I think that might have been a penalty infringement in the pit lane for Murphy. McConey, great race, gone under the radar a little bit, but 7th place for last year's Constructors runners-up, Williams. Tomo makes it a double points finish for Red Bull, and Vegas stays in the top 10. His team, oh no, he's dropped out. No, Piero's jumped them all. Piero going up into 8th place, and we just wait now for Luke to cross the line, the last driver, but it's Dat Rowland that takes victory here in Northamptonshire at the Silverstone Grand Prix, round 1 of the Cone Racing Academy.
At the very, very end for Piero, 1987, what a fantastic year that was. Only the best were born then. Well done him for jumping into the points at the very, very end. Obviously, as we said, some of the penalties have rocked the boat a little bit at the end there. There's a bit of a chopping and changing of positions, but that Rowland, credit where it's due, comes in, has 1 lap, sets pole, and pushes on from there. Or did he set pole?
No, pole position was Christian Galang.
Sorry.
So it was a 125.6 from the Alfa Romeo, but he was right up there all race with the McLaren.
Yeah, superb, absolutely superb. Brilliant battle at the front by them too. Your credit where it's due, they've been superb and give us a brilliant race. Obviously, they were the same on penalties in the end, and you can see just about their quickest lap. They've almost had an identical race there for Christian and. Dan Rowland, superb for them too.
Yeah, again, I said it went under the radar a little bit. And another thing that's gone under the radar, no penalties for Marconi. I think he's the only driver that didn't take penalties aside from Digweed. Digweed with a fast lap of 125.3 then.
Yeah. Faultless by Marconi. You can't overlook that. That's absolutely superb. Nice bit of experience for him. Yeah, very, very good. Murphy with 15 seconds. That's why he dropped the positions at the end there. He must correct that. But if he can get that corrected, his race pace is clearly there. He's got a chance to do well. Just needs to sort that out a little bit.
Yeah. So that is it for this race. All that's left to ask you: who's your driver of the day, Danny?
So. It's very tough to look past that Rowland because just leading from the front and battling all the way. I think that Immortal Viking has had an absolute worldie from 17th on the grid to come up to finish in 4th place on his debut, and he is going to get driver of the day from me.
Yeah, I think these are obviously provisional results, barring any stewards incidents that may come up in the next day or so, but I'd have to agree with you. I don't think you can look past Immortal Viking. Qualified very highly, but struggled. I think he got DSQ'd because he started down in 17th, but he built his way up, took advantage of the early drama, and put himself onto the top 4. So that's
qualifying, must have, and that's the only way I can think that he's lost those positions. But what a hell of a reply.
Yeah, so that is it. Season 3 in CRL is underway. We've completed the race here at Silverstone. CRA winner today was Dat Rowland. Next week, Danny, we're into Zandvoort. Are you excited?
I absolutely love Zandvoort. I think it's an unbelievable track, nice and flowy. Love driving it, and I'll look forward more to commentating on it. I can't wait for this race too. Yep, 7 days time.
Yeah, so that is, as Danny said, we will be back in 7 days time for CRA Round 2. Tune in to the YouTube on Thursday, as it is the turn of CRC1 and CRC2, where myself and Danny will be driving, looking to go head to head in a sort of battle of the comms. So they are around Silverstone. Join Indigo and Yogurt for Tier 1, and newcomer Hedgehog will join Cool Dude Boy in the Tier 2 box. But until next week, we'll see you then.